Good morning, practical preppers. Hopefully, you can hear me a lot better. I'm dropping the regular COVID sort of face mask. I'm not usually this pretty, but yeah. I wanted to go ahead and go over what we've been talking about, and I've heard a bunch of comments on, which is related to community building, and I have been thinking about it, and I get where everyone's coming from. I really do. Because I'm a very distrusting person. It takes a lot for me to trust an individual. In fact, I categorize individuals into there's only two categories in my opinion, which is probably not right, but it's just in me. So you're ethical and trustworthy, or you're not ethical and trustworthy. I wish I could find middle ground. I think that for me is because of my time in the military. Um, a few officers that I still speak to today came in as second lieutenant butter bars, and they were the greatest officers that I've ever had. Even though they didn't have the knowledge, they ran the platoons amazingly because they cared so deeply about the guys. They were not ever worried to ask, "Hey, Sarge, Lance Corporal, Corporal, can you help me out with this?" Ever. And when men see that, man, it's the type of person you want to follow. It's the type of leader you want to be. And they slowly became better and better and better officers. My platoon, my first platoon leader, I had the opportunity with serving to serve with that individual. Maybe 3 years. One of my last deployment in Iraq, and he was a captain at the time, in charge of an entire company, and best company I have ever been a part of. But again, back to community building. So I've asked some friends, I've asked around, and it turns out that my friends that are trying to help their family members have came across this same sort of question. Um, One of my buddies from the military, his dad is a hermit, doesn't trust anyone, just wants to stack ammunition inside of his house. He's 80 years old. Um, and we've got him everything he's wanted, right? Like he has level 4 vest. He's got a legitimate Kevlar helmet, unlike mine, because I can't afford that. He's got the new quad NVGs. I can't remember the exact name for them, but I'm talking about like $15,000 NVGs. Um, and we've been trying to tell him, and his son's been trying to tell him, dude, like, none of this is going to help you. All this is a target. Yeah, all this is a target, Dad. Okay? You can save as many guns as you'd like, and as many bullets as you like, and you can have the most high tech equipment there is. Um, but ultimately, when it's you alone in a house, you're, I mean, come on, use your head. But he's hard headed. He's hard headed. And my friend came up with an idea. He said, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a flyer, and the flyer is going to say, um, community watch meeting, or just community or neighborhood meeting happening on this day for neighborhood safety at this place. I'm going to take a staple gun," and he did, and he went and he posted it all around on light poles and at the local grocery store anonymously. No name, no nothing on it. Just the time, date, and location. Then he told his dad, "I'm going to take you to that meeting, uh, and we're going to show up about 15 minutes late." So surprisingly, they got there, and there was like 15 people there. It was at a park near their home, and when they arrived, they were already talking about the same things that the father and the son talk about all the time. They're all really worried about what's happening, with the surveillance state and with this massive law enforcement presence that we have in the U.S. right now. Some new rules that could potentially, take some rights away from citizens. And they were openly discussing it. And they were actually openly discussing um, before they got to the conversation, they were openly discussing how would they block their community, their neighborhood off should something like martial law or the Insurrection Act be declared. How can we block off our community and keep it safe? Now, that father did not put in any input during that entire meeting, but that father learned the entire plan of that neighborhood during that meeting. Uh, they also shared basically what they're all good at, right? They live on the water. One of the guys is a fisherman. Um, uh, like was a commercial fisherman, now does it for a hobby and takes people out for like little tours to go catch salmon. And he invited my buddy's dad, and they spent a whole day out there talking. And now those two are prepping together. They are like I don't know, like peanut butter and jelly now, right? Um, like getting crazy in their head, like man, we should make a tunnel between my house and yours, and like sort of thing. And these are men in their 70s and 80s, but they did find community, and I love it, and it can be found that way. So think like an operator. Think how to not find community, but bring community to you. And my friend's solution was the solution of somebody that thinks outside of the box. Next thing, and man oh man, the thing that I forgot to put onto the first video about building community is one of the simplest ones. And sorry I didn't bring it up, but barter fairs. Barter fairs. All of us, most of us, have maybe something we like to do. Maybe we like to work with wood. I personally, after the assault rifle ban in Washington State, got really into trying to create rifles with compressed air in unique ways, right? So I was so I sold quite a bit of those online. In fact, in another video, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Um, but during COVID, I started working with leather, right? So I'd buy a decent knife, right? Maybe a Gerber, and I would make a really, really nice leather holster for it, and they could give me their name or something they wanted written on it. Maybe, for example, one of my Marine buddies had an Army buddy that passed away. Different times, like they weren't together during it, but passed away, and he wanted 75th Ranger, yeah, 2nd Battalion, 75th Ranger, I believe, put on there with the individual's name and their little unit logo. And I made the knife, or no, the sheath for the knife, and then I brought it over to a buddy of mine that has a CNC machine, and it just burned what he wanted into it, and it looked great. But I would go down there with lots of things to try and trade, right? So old military equipment that doesn't work, that's I want it, right? I want it. Because over the years, I have learned how to literally fix almost everything, and you would be surprised how easy it can be to fix a a $5,000 set of NVGs that someone simply thinks just doesn't work anymore. When the case is, it actually just needed like a 8 cents fuse to get it going again. So bartering, yeah, bartering is a way to build community. Okay, it's a way of learning what others can offer you, what skills they have. It's a way of you to start taking part in a community in which currency or gold or silver might not be worth anything, right? Um, but there's always going to be value in people that can create. There's going to be value in individuals that can make alcohol. I mean, without a doubt, like if things go bad, I can tell you I haven't drank in 10 years, but I mean, if it really hits the fan, I'm going to the lady that's bugging in that's making wine and white lightning, right? Because I'm probably going to need to get some sleep. I might even ask that old lady to go cut me some of her poppy sap for apocalyptic sleep, more or less. Um, but again, so my friend really did remind me, and it made me think of SERE school. Um, you don't build community by intentionally going out and seeking it as much as you do as making that community come to you. Now, I just want to say one other thing. If you're a doctor, okay, if you have that kind of skill, a doctor, a nurse, etc., don't say a fucking word to anyone. No one. Um, Unless you get to a place to where you have a group. That group is safe, and even then, um, that information needs to be kept very quietly. Should anyone need to see you in that group, and they need to know, the potential repercussions should they share that information. Um, a doctor is a person that I believe in any type of global catastrophe is an individual that people aren't just going to want in their group. They're people that individuals are going to physically take and bring to their group. As sad as that is, um, without Google, um, it's really hard to diagnose yourself. Like right now, I don't feel doctors are that smart to tell you the truth. Um, and I feel like I can cure what I or diagnose what I have just as fast as they can. But without the computer, no, nope. I'm gonna need an expert. Um, Dentists, same things. Anyone in that medical field that has that sort of training. Um, Now, if it's basic, like an EMT, and you know how to say put an IV, etc., then that's fine. You can let people know. But everyone ultimately should be trained up to that EMT level